Hi and welcome. This is my May review for Aquarians. Now, we start the month with a very good aspect because this could be fortunate for you. We have Venus and Jupiter conjunct in your second house, the house of finances. So it's a good time to make money. It's also a good time maybe to buy a lottery ticket just in case. But unfortunately it's also a good time to spend money, so you need to be careful that you don't overindulge yourself with expenses. Now the other thing that's happening at the start of the month is that Pluto is now retrograde. Now Pluto's in your 12th house. So Pluto retrograde in 12th house you can work with. There are lessons to be learned, things to do while he's retrograde. And this is retrograde for 5 months until October the 8th. So it's a good time now to get to grips with it, because eventually in a year or so's time Pluto will be moving into your first house and Aquarius, your sign. So things will transform in the outer world, but for now Pluto's transforming your inner world, your unconscious world. So it's time to look at that. Look at where there may be blockages, because these blockages are self-imposed and really they are opportunities that can be developed. Also, it's a good time to analyse your inner world, analyse where you can make changes. It's up to you now to develop your soul and make progress with your soul and develop the qualities that will enrich your soul. On the 4th there's a conjunction between the Sun and Uranus that's happening in your 4th house. Now this is a time when you may be unsettled, maybe that you need change, you crave something different, something new, maybe that you want to change things around in your home, or maybe you actually want to move home. But this aspect is works out well if you're in tune with yourself and in tune with what you really want and what you need. If you're not, then external events can transpire to force those changes upon you. Now the other positive thing about this day is that we have a great aspect from Mars to the Sun. Now Mars always adds energy and vibrance to the Sun. He's like the knight to the king. He works and honours the Sun, so this is a good time to put things into action. Use this Mars energy to make real progress. Two other aspects on the 4th, a conjunction between the asteroid Vesta and Saturn, which is happening in your 1st house. Now with Vesta in the 1st house, it's about being you. Vesta is our eternal flame that burns for us, and we need to be in touch with who we are. So Vesta's asking you to be yourself and to develop yourself. And with Saturn in conjunction, Saturn will give you the persistence and the analytical skills to look at yourself and know where you need to make certain changes. The other aspect is a little bit more different. It's a square between Venus and the Black Moon Lilith. Now here there could be challenges within relationships, and these could feature around work, your daily routines, and also the financial side of things. So there may be things you need to discuss about these areas that need sorting. Venus has now moved into Aries and the 3rd house, where she's not quite so happy as she was in the 2nd, but she makes a positive aspect to Mercury, who's in the 5th house. So this is a time when you can communicate with people, you can socialise with people, and you can have some fun. This is a very light-hearted day. Then on the 10th, Mercury is the 2nd planet to go retrograde this month. Now Mercury retrograde in the 5th house is about letting go. It's about letting the wind blow you in the direction it chooses, and not fight against anything, and not try and have control over your future and what it does. Because if you go with the wind, you may find creative alternatives to the things that you thought you'd had under control. And this could be a better way of progressing and going forward. The other thing to learn while Mercury is retrograde in this house is learn to be responsible for those that you love. You've got 3 weeks to work with this, and then Mercury will go direct again. On the 12th, the Sun makes a conjunction with the Moon's North Node. Now, we've already talked about the conjunction with Uranus, where there's a unrest and maybe you're unsettled. With this aspect, It could be that you find the track you need to follow, the path you need to walk down. Because the North Node is our spiritual way forward, and there's always a shift of power when there's a conjunction like this. And also with Mars making a positive aspect to the North Node, this again is a sign that there is energy and drive there for you to harness. And it may be that you need to break away. Maybe you need a new challenge. Maybe you need a new quest to follow. Maybe things got a little bit stale recently and now it's time to take up the gauntlet. There may be some doubts creeping in on the 15th because the Sun makes a square to Saturn. So all the ideas and things that you've thought up, you may be thinking, oh, I have other duties, responsibilities to other things and other people. Don't let these things stop you, because what happens is, Aquarians, you do tend to sometimes get yourself locked in a thinking circle, and it is hard to break. There is another aspect on this day between Venus and the healing planet of Chiron in that third house. So past behaviour patterns of thought may come back into your mind, so you need to break these straight away, because these will only hold you. But we spoke about Pluto and those negative thought patterns, and you need to stop it straight away. On the 16th we have our full moon. It's in Scorpio and your 10th house. So now you could be thrust into the limelight. It could be a sudden opportunity, a new job come up, something that forces you to take action. This full moon is also a eclipse. It's a total lunar eclipse, and it belongs to the Saros 6 North series, which again is responsible for getting you to take control of something, take responsibility for something. And it could be that you have to take over where someone else has left off, but you need to take control now above anything else. Now with the full moon in Scorpio, it's a very intensely emotional full moon. So if you are thrust into the limelight or in the public eye, then you need to keep control of your emotions and make sure that you put your best self forward. On the 17th we have a rather strange aspect, because Mars conjunct Neptune, and Mars is the planet of ego, the planet of activity and physical prowess, and Neptune is totally the opposite. Neptune is ego defying and is very fluid and relaxed. So this is a day when you might feel like you're suspended in the air, or could be that you feel totally lost and just no confidence and no energy at all. But this won't last long. This is a temporary thing, and this is a day when you can tune into the more spiritual side, the more otherworldly side of Neptune, and see what's within. You can probably learn some interesting things about yourself. Now it's not a day to get involved in any financial transactions at all, because this is happening in your second house, so there will be no logical reason to anything. So you need to just make sure you hang on to your money on a day like this. You don't want to be conned out of it. Then the following day we have another aspect that can help you with that inner transformation, because the Sun makes a positive aspect to Pluto. Remember we spoke about Pluto earlier on in the video and the inner work that needs doing. Well, the Sun can give you inspiration to carry this transformation through. On the 19th, Jupiter makes a positive aspect to that Mercury retrograde in your 5th house. This is a time to centre yourself. Make sure your power centre is all ready for when things go forward at full steam in a week's time. And on the 21st the Sun moves into Gemini, and this is your fellow air sign, so you're going to benefit from this, and also makes that conjunction with Mercury. So again, it's about planning, getting yourself ready, getting everything organised, ready for the big push forward when Mercury goes direct. Two positive sextiles on the 22nd, one between the Sun and Jupiter, one between Mars and Pluto. These will both give you a lot of energy, a lot of positive energy, a lot of optimism, but also the drive and initiative to take things forward. So make sure you can use all this energy. It's also a good time with Jupiter in the third to interact with others, enlist the help of others if need be, and you can get a lot achieved. On the 23rd we have a conjunction between Ceres, the asteroid, and the black moon Lilith. Now these two are two sides of the same coin. Ceres is the eternal mother, the nurturing side in us. The other side of the coin is the black moon Lilith. Lilith is the original sinner and the more promiscuous side of sexuality. So if you're in a relationship, it could be a good time to combine these into one, so that you can use and get the best out of both of them. But these are prime archetypes, and they can bring up things from the unconscious that relate to their what they represent. And certainly with Ceres in Cancer, which is a nurturing sign, and in your 6th house, it may be that you're called to serve others in a nurturing way, or maybe that within your work and your daily routines, that people are attracted to, drawn to you, because they're bringing out your nurturing side, or they see that nurturing side within you. On the 24th, it's a good day to sit down and discuss obligations, duties, expectations with either family, work colleagues, bosses, or in relationships. It's a good day to get these sort of things out in the open, because there's a positive aspect between Venus and Saturn. And then 2 days later, on the 26th, Venus makes a square aspect to Pluto. So this is again in that 3rd house for you. Venus is there and wants to communicate. So she now has a strong desire, intensity to want to put things right now and act on what was discussed. On the 28th we have probably the most intense and physical aspect you can imagine. Mars is now into Aries, which he rules, and he conjuncts Jupiter, which is in the early degrees of Aries, which is also where he's very, very happy. So these two are very powerful, very intense at this time. This is great for physical activities. But unfortunately, this is happening in your 3rd house. This is the house of the mind. So you need to be very careful how you channel this energy, because too much energy into the mind will make you irritable and grumpy, so we don't want that to happen. So channel it into any project or anything you've got that can use all this energy for 3 days. And then on the 30th, Mars makes a square to the black moon Lilith in that 6th house. So this is a time when you want to change your routines. You want to change your work routine, your health, exercise routine, so that they are more efficient and are streamlined. We finish the month with the new moon. Now, the new moon on the 30th is in Gemini, and it's just occurring at the right time, because in a day or so Mercury is going to go direct and everything will fall into place. Now this is a great new moon. This is great for communications, this is great for taking on new ideas, but it's also good for the creative side of things, because it's happening in your 5th house, and it's also going to be fantastic for socialising and interacting with people on a social level. Also, love affairs are highlighted with the new moon in the 5th, so there could be a new love that starts. Or if you're in a relationship already, you can inject more vigour and enthusiasm into your love relationship. Thank you for watching my May review. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have and like to see more, please subscribe. And if you'd like to leave me a message, I'd be glad to hear from you.